Andrew, pronouns are he, him, and Maine, has a question for Dr. Ray. Welcome, Andrew.
Hello. So I see that Dr. Ray, you're a psychologist. I had questions about like narcissism kind of and how you diagnose that and with like people in positions of power or leadership, or they have a platform, and also anger issues. And do you think that Matt fits these descriptions?
I don't understand what you're asking. It's not.
Am I an angry narcissist, and what does it have to do with religion? Is what he's asking.
Oh, I see. I see a lot of narcissists in the world. I've been around Matt a lot. I've never seen. He doesn't meet the criteria, but I'm not here to diagnose anybody, and he's a friend of mine. I don't diagnose my friends anyway. But I will say this: you can. It's hard to diagnose unless you've got quite a bit of training and you got a good sample of behavior or some psychological tests to help you get to that diagnosis. So it's actually dangerous to be sitting on a radio show and talking about people who may or may not be anything in terms of mental health. I'm a psychologist, but I also know it's stupid to diagnose people at long distance. Although I'll say that we certainly have seen a lot of people who might meet the criteria who are standing up preaching every Sunday morning on mega churches. I'll go there.
So Andrew, did you have something else you wanted to ask, or were you just trying to take a sideways pot shot at me, which seems kind of cowardly and shitty? Maybe you have anger issues.
Well, I don't feel angry, but I mean, I guess one thing is
you don't feel angry, but you called back in specifically to ask my co-host if he thought I was angry narcissist. So clearly you're still a little butthurt about the last time you got hung up on.
I don't even remember. I mean, that might have happened more than once. I'm not sure.
I'm sure it has. Anyway, do you have something else that's remotely relevant to the subject here at the show?
Yes, actually. So I've thought about this a lot. Just my mother is actually a psychiatrist, and don't you think mental health is kind of subjective? I mean, people just kind of make up baskets to throw people in, and it seems overall, I don't know. To me, it just seems like it's not like mathematical or anything, or it's not like surgery. I just feel like that's kind of subjective. What do you think?
So I think there are hard sciences that are closely tied to things like mathematics, something like physics, and that there are weaker sciences and social sciences, and that these still don't end up being, hey, let me just pull something out of my ass and make a basket to throw people in, which is why we have like the DSM, which takes a bunch of experts and has them talk and negotiate. Are they going to get things right? Are they going to get things wrong? Yes. Is there a hard, clear thing where we can say, oh, here's the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath and this other thing? And we change the names of disorders as we understand them better. But to suggest that the entire field of psychiatry, psychology, sociology, et cetera, that are going about categorizing people is just something where people make it up and there's no checks and balances is extremely dishonest. It's not like this is astrology where people are in fact just making shit up.
No, it's not. It's not astrology. I guess, how does someone determine what's right or wrong? I mean, it seems like it's just a consensus.
Maybe you could go to school and learn rather than sitting around armchair speculating as if you have the expertise to overcome the entirety of the psychological disciplines.
I know it's a consensus, and we all know consensus can get things wrong. So that's all I'm saying is it's kind of flawed.
Okay, which opinion is going to be more flawed, the consensus or yours?
I mean that's subjective. I mean,
no, sir. It's not subjective. Somebody's opinion, if they're different, is more or less objectively wrong than the other. And what are the odds that you, who don't even know how they go about making these decisions, are more likely to be correct than the bulk of experts in the field?
Okay, well, I know that like 50 years ago, they used to give people lobotomies for terrible reasons.
I just asked you a question, sir. Are you going to be honest or are you going to continue to be dishonest? Because I didn't ask you about what used to happen. I didn't ask you about lobotomies. I asked you about whether or not, on average, your uninformed opinion is more likely to be correct than the consensus of experts in a field.
On average, my example was to say experts can get it wrong. And
yeah, you can go fuck yourself. Goodbye, sir. If you can't answer the question honestly, I have no interest in continuing the conversation, because there's literally no other answer than for me, for Andrew, for Darrel, for anybody. The odds that we as a non-expert are going to have a more accurate opinion than the consensus of experts in a field is laughably false. And the fact that you refuse to answer that, now, I'm not going to sit here and armchair diagnose, but maybe you're an angry narcissist who just called in to try to show off how smart you weren't.
Or he's mad at his mother for having diagnosed him or something. Who knows?
I don't know.